You're listening to the Joint Force on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. And today we are joined by a couple of special guests. We have Colonel Pat Dagon. He's the District Commander for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Ms. Jen Regel. She's the Regional Program Manager for the U.S. Air Force Military Design and Construction Program for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming on and sharing this information with us today about Engineer Week. So what is Engineer Week?
First, before we get started, we'd like to thank you and the AFN team for inviting us to speak to you about Engineer Week. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is honored to help our community celebrate National Engineers Week, and we're honored to represent the Europe District. Engineer Week is a time to spotlight engineering with the intent of igniting curiosity and sparking enthusiasm across all STEM disciplines, hopefully inspiring a diverse and well-educated future engineering workforce. This week was founded by the National Society of Professional Engineers in the U.S. in the 1950s. It's also no coincidence that Engineers Week is celebrated so close to President George Washington's birthday. President Washington is often considered the nation's first engineer, most notably for his survey work. This year's theme is Engineers, Imagining Tomorrow. And Jen and I are very excited to join you for today's discussion, not only about engineers, but the many talented individuals across the STEM fields who are using their creativity and imagination to work towards building a better tomorrow.
Absolutely, and we really do appreciate you coming on and sharing this information with us about Engineer Week. So, sir, I'm going to direct this next question to you. So how is engineering and STEM important to us?
In the military, engineers are needed to solve problems, protect troops, and ensure that planning and construction functions support mission accomplishment. When I was a kid, I was curious about everything math and science related, and I felt a huge draw to serve in the armed services. While I first wanted to be a soldier, after learning what engineers do, I wanted to serve as an engineer officer in the engineer regiment. Service as an engineer was about building engagement areas, breaching minefields, and creating survivability for our maneuver brethren. This is leadership, but it's also geometry and math, and there's STEM ties throughout. It wasn't until several years after commissioning that I realized the incredible role of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers uses engineer theory, their engineer education, and science ties throughout to construct and deliver a program throughout the world, but specifically for us, throughout Europe, to build a better tomorrow.
And I'm sure it does. And I'm sure it's always just continuing to move forward, moving along, pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries. How does it actually, engineering and STEM, impact our day-to-day lives?
So if you look around at any of the garrisons or bases in Europe, you will see engineering. You will see USACE projects at most of these garrisons and bases also. We design and construct and manage airfields and dormitories and aircraft hangars, fuel lines, the swimming pools, the gyms, your lodging facilities. It kind of goes on. And even if you know and are aware of those types of things, there's also the things that are not so obvious, like the water bottle that you carry around with you. It took an incredible amount of engineering to create that shape and the type of material it's constructed out of, the road that you drive on. That asphalt mix had a very precise design, and the soil underneath the asphalt was formulated in a really specific manner. The shirt that you're wearing, the blend of the material, the weave, it took an entire team of engineers to come up with that. So really, anywhere you look, you can find engineering, both in the obvious ways and the not so obvious ways.
Sometimes you don't think about those little small things, but it is actually everywhere around us all the time. It pretty much is involved in everything. And once again, that was Colonel Pat Dagon. He's the District Commander for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, and Ms. Jen Regel. She's the Regional Program Manager for the U.S. Air Force Military Design and Construction Program for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District. Don't go anywhere, though, because coming up, we got all sorts of positions and jobs engineers have in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.